Today, we're diving deep into Nina Dobrev's shocking claims about pay inequality on the Vampire Diaries, plus some exclusive updates on other celebrity drama that's been brewing. So grab your favorite drink and let's get into it. Let's start with the bombshell that has Vampire Diaries fans absolutely shook. Nina Dobrev has finally opened up about the real reason she left the show after season 6. And honey, it's messier than we thought. In a new oral history book called I Was Feeling Epic, Nina spilled some serious tea about pay disparity on set. And when I tell you this story has layers, I mean layers. So here's the deal. Nina, along with Candace King and Kat Graham, were apparently the 3 lowest paid series regulars during the first 2 seasons. But here's where it gets really wild. Nina was literally doing double the work because she was playing both Elena and Katherine, but wasn't getting double the pay. Think about it, she had to memorize twice the lines, spend twice the time on set, basically do the work of 2 actors, but was still making less than Paul Wesley and Ian Somerhalder. The audacity. Nina said she wanted to be compensated fairly for playing Katherine and wanted to be equal to the boys. But apparently, that equality never quite happened, even after some salary bumps. But wait, it gets worse. According to the book, the studio actually tried to limit how much Katherine could appear on the show because they didn't want to pay Nina for playing the character. Can you imagine? They literally told the writers they couldn't write Katherine into episodes anymore. Julie Plec, one of the show's creators, said it got really heated, and they were basically banned from writing Katherine's storylines. That's like telling Shakespeare he can't write about love. It's ridiculous. Nina said they refused to bump her up to equal pay out of principle. Out of principle, y'all! She was working 18-hour days, putting her heart and soul into multiple characters, and they said no on principle. The disrespect is astronomical. So obviously Nina decided she'd had enough and left after season 6. But here's where the pettiness reaches new heights. When it came time for the series finale in 2017, they still tried to lowball her. Get this, they initially offered her 5 times less than what she was making in her final season. 5 times less, for the show's finale. The show that she literally carried for 6 seasons. Julie Plec admitted they couldn't have her for more than 1 episode because they just wouldn't pay. And when Nina finally did negotiate to come back, she had to put her foot down and demand pay parity with the male leads. She said it wasn't even about the money at that point, it was about the principle. And honestly, good for her. Someone had to take a stand against this nonsense. Now, this story isn't just about Nina and the Vampire Diaries. This is a symptom of a much larger problem in Hollywood. We've seen similar stories from other shows and franchises where female leads are systematically undervalued and underpaid. What makes this particularly frustrating is that Nina was arguably the face of the Vampire Diaries. Elena was the central character. The show literally revolved around her, and yet she was being paid less than her male co-stars who, let's be real, were essentially supporting her storyline. And can we talk about how they tried to limit Katherine appearances? Katherine Pierce was one of the most beloved characters on the show. Fans lived for those episodes. The studio was literally sabotaging their own product because they didn't want to pay a woman what she was worth. The fan reactions have been intense, and honestly, they should be. Twitter is going off about this revelation. People are sharing their favorite Katherine moments and talking about how the show was never the same after Nina left. Some fans are calling for boycotts of CW shows. Others are demanding apologies from the network executives involved. The hashtag #JusticeForNina has been trending, and honestly, it's about time. This Nina Dobrev situation is unfortunately part of a pattern we've seen across Hollywood. From the Sony email leaks that revealed Jennifer Lawrence and Amy Adams were paid less than their male American Hustle co-stars, to Taraji P. Henson having to fight for equal pay on Empire, to the whole scandal situation with Kerry Washington. It's 2025, people. How are we still having these conversations? How are networks still thinking they can get away with this? What's particularly infuriating about Nina's case is how blatant it was. She was literally doing twice the work playing 2 completely different characters with different accents, mannerisms, wardrobes, makeup looks, and they still wouldn't pay her equally. The fact that they tried to ban Katherine from appearing on the show rather than just pay, Nina fairly shows you exactly where their priorities were. They'd rather damage their own storytelling than treat their female lead with respect. Let's take a moment to appreciate what Nina brought to the table as Katherine Pierce, because this character was iconic. Katherine was complex, layered, morally ambiguous. She was everything that made the Vampire Diaries compelling. Nina had to completely transform herself to play Katherine. different accent, different body language, different energy entirely. The skill required to seamlessly switch between Elena and Katherine, sometimes in the same episode, sometimes in the same scene. That's Emmy-level acting right there. And the studio wanted to just eliminate that because they didn't want to pay for it. The short-sightedness is stunning. Katherine Pierce episodes consistently had higher ratings. Fans would lose their minds whenever Katherine appeared. She was a fan favorite, a critical darling, and a ratings goldmine. But sure, let's limit her appearances to save some money. Brilliant business strategy, truly. The timing of these revelations is particularly interesting because we're in an era where pay equity in Hollywood is finally getting the attention it deserves. Actors are being more transparent about their experiences, and audiences are paying attention. Networks and studios are starting to realize that these stories don't just disappear, they become part of the show's legacy. When people talk about the Vampire Diaries now, this pay disparity scandal is going to be part of that conversation, and honestly, it should be. Because while we were watching Elena choose between Damon and Stefan, Nina was behind the scenes fighting just to be paid fairly for her work. While we were enjoying Katherine's schemes and plot twists, the studio was actively trying to write the character out to avoid paying the actress. It changes how you view the show, doesn't it? Knowing that some of the best episodes, the ones with the most complexity and dual character work, were episodes the studio didn't want to pay for. What can we learn from Nina's experience? First, transparency matters. By sharing her story, Nina is making it harder for studios to continue these practices in secret. When these stories come to light, it forces accountability. Second, standing up for principle matters, even when it's costly. Nina walked away from a successful show because she knew her worth. She returned for the finale only after securing fair compensation. That takes courage, especially when you know it might damage professional relationships. Third, we as audiences have power too. The way fans have rallied around Nina's story shows that viewers care about how their favorite actors are treated. That matters to networks and studios who depend on audience loyalty. So where do we go from here? Well, Nina's doing just fine. She's got multiple projects in the works and has built a successful career beyond Mystic Falls. But her story serves as a reminder that the fight for pay equity in Hollywood isn't over. We're seeing more actors speak out, more transparency in negotiations, and more public pressure for fair treatment. That's progress, but it's progress that comes at a cost. Actors like Nina had to sacrifice and fight for changes that benefit the entire industry. The Vampire Diaries might have ended, but the conversations it sparked about pay equity, female representation, and industry fairness are just beginning, and that's a legacy worth having. All right, that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the Nina Dobrev pay disparity scandal. What do you think? Are you Team Nina? Are you planning to rewatch The Vampire Diaries with this new context? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We've got more Hollywood tea coming your way all week long. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the drama. Coming up this week, we're diving into some major casting controversies, behind-the-scenes feuds that are just coming to light, and some exclusive rumors about potential reboots that might surprise you. Until next time, keep it messy, keep it real, and remember, in Hollywood, the real drama is often happening behind the cameras. This has been Gossip Mail Report, and I'll see you in the next one.